Well, hello everybody. Once again, another episode of Seize Your Business. I'm Jim Wyzak from Success Enhancement, and my co-host is Kevin O'Flaherty
from O'Flaherty Law.
And today's topic is don't just sit there. And what we're seeing is a lot of entrepreneurs today are a little bit older. Maybe they're tired of their corporate routine. And so we want to talk about ways to stay healthy while you're entrepreneuring. And our guest today is Peggy Kinst from Ageless Grace. I've known Peggy for quite a number of years. She's always been an entrepreneur. She's always been in the wellness field. So we thought we'd talk to her a little bit about how to stay well while you're entrepreneuring. But why don't you first start, Peggy? Tell us a little bit about Ageless Grace and what's its purpose and who you serve. And
well, I've been in wellness for 45 years. And I've taught just about everything from the Jane Fonda era and the jazzercise and the weightlifting and the, race walking and, the pounding of the pavement type thing. And I think as we get older, see so many people with knee injuries and bad backs and bad hips. And I, I am 69 and I'm
really? I thought you were like 30 now.
I am.
Wow.
I am 39.
So you better all start getting whatever she's selling.
Yes, yeah. And so I've always been looking for ways to keep healthy. I actually went into the wellness field because I had intestinal disease, and that's gone. And I want to make sure that I stay. And my parents both had, brain type diseases. And so when Ageless Grace came out, and Ageless Grace is an anti-aging fitness program for body and brain. So that was in itself just an awesome way of looking, because we've never talked about brain or neuroplasticity or, cognitive decline. We didn't talk about those things. And Denise Medved, who created this program, started this program almost 16 years ago. It took her almost 6 years to create this program. Because her mother had Alzheimer's. And when I found out that she had created this program, and she'd been in fitness and been a black belt, actually international trainer, and had written a lot of the curriculum, she came up with this. It's a seated exercise program. And people usually think of seated exercise for, oh no, that's boring, that's benign, that's for old people. But what we're finding is that actually being seated uses more of your core and your core muscles, but it also is a way to stave off cognitive decline. And Ageless Grace is unique in that it is based on 21 anti-aging tools. Each tool addresses one of the factors of aging. So we have 21 tools, and they each have a primary benefit. And some of them's for body. We want from ages 5 to 110 now. To keep our bodies and our brains functioning so that we don't get dementia or Alzheimer's. And we're starting with the kids, because the kids, if we can start young enough, we can build a cognitive reserve that will retard getting dementia. Even if we have the plaques and tangles of Alzheimer's, we don't have to get it. If we stay active from the time that we're children to the time that we die. Now, even if you start at age 55 and you become active, that can start building up this cognitive reserve. But we have to keep our bodies healthy, because otherwise we're going to end up in nursing homes. We have to keep our minds active, or else we're going to end up in nursing homes. And so this program is unique in that some of them, it's also an education program. So for example, the first tool is juicy joints. Now that sounds kind of silly, but the whole premise behind it is that we're working with joint mobility. And not only are we working with joint mobility, but we're teaching them, where are your joints? What's your mirror joints? Why do we do this? Why do we need synovial fluid? So every tool that we teach, and I'm an international trainer, so I train all over the world, teaching people to be able, or actually training people and certifying them to be able to teach in any facility that they want, from school-age kids to healthy people in fitness clubs to rehab and hospitals and even in assisted living, and especially in memory care, because we we can start reversing that dynamic if we keep them active. And we have one called Spaghetti Spine, which is all about mobility of the spine and teaching them about the 26 areas of their spine. But then we get into neuroplasticity, and neuroplasticity is something that we all need to know what that means. And neuroplasticity, if you break up the word, neuro is the nerves, our brain cells, and plasticity is that our brains are plastic. We can mold them. It used to be that once you hit 21, your brain wasn't going to develop anymore. By the time you hit 40, it was already on the downswing. And by 60, just sit in that chair and wait for death, because that's all that was going to happen. Well, now, excitingly so, the research points out that that's absolutely unfounded, that we actually can develop our brains, we can build new neurons, we can make new connections, we can strengthen synapses. There is all kinds. I became a member of this Neuroscience Academy, and the research that's coming out, but it all points to you have to move your body. You have to do aerobic type activity.
So if you says we can still develop the brain, so what kinds of activities help develop the brain? I've heard like crossword puzzles and things like that are good to keep doing. I don't know if that's true or not, but...
Well, let me give you the definition of neuroplasticity. It's the ability of the brain and the nervous system to change its structure and function by doing different activities throughout your life. So, yes, if you start doing crossword puzzles and you keep increasing the difficulty of them, and it challenges your brain. But if you just get up every morning and go, oh, it's not doing anything, and Sudoku is not doing anything. What we need to do, and some of our tools are like team sports. We actually have them, okay, we're going to play baseball now. We're going to throw that ball. So not only are we building their bodies, but the brain's going, wow, Jim, you hit that ball. Well, if you had played baseball as a kid, the brain's going, cool, I remember he used to do that. Let's restore that neural pathway. But if I had never played hockey, but I could recall it or think about it, then the brain's going to go, wow, she never did that before. So let's build a new neural pathway. We can build neural pathways for even personality and gaining habits. But I have a question for you. Maybe this will help you understand. Who has a bigger, more developed brain? A bus driver or a cab driver?
A cab driver.
Absolutely. And why is that?
Because he's always got to figure out new places and new routes. It's not the same thing.
And that means he's using his 5 functions of the brain.
So you're sort of saying, like, learning new things is great.
Learning new things, learning a new language, learning to play an instrument is probably 2 of the best things you can do. Also, learning something and then telling someone about it or teaching someone about it. That's huge in your development. We have a tool called Spelling Bee for Body and Brain, and it's using the same 5 functions that the cab driver uses. Strategic planning to know how to go from point A to point B. Analytical thinking, memory recall, creativity and imagination, and kinesthetic learning. And all of those things are what's activating our brains. And another thing that's really important is music. Listening to music. You've heard about Alive Inside, where they're putting earphones and iPods with their favorite music, and they're getting up. Dementia patients are getting up and dancing and singing and bringing them back to life, because that actually lights up their brain like a jukebox.
Yeah.
So anything that we can do to keep ourselves active, obviously to eat good foods and to stay away from all of the research that says about wheat and carbohydrates and sugar. Yeah, right.
So meats and vegetables and fruit.
Yeah. The Mediterranean diet. And to be social. To go, even just going to classes is important, and talking to people. Yeah. Sure. And drinking water. Water is hydration. Your brain is 85% water, but it can't create its own water. So if you're not drinking water, the brain's not getting water. And sometimes when you're really fatigued, you're thinking, oh, I'm so tired. I just feel like I'm in a fog. And you are, because your brain's not getting any hydration, as well as all the other parts of your body. So and another thing that all of you should know too, that when you're sitting, all of us do it. If you're sitting more than an hour or two at a time, you should be getting up and moving your eyes around, getting your body up. And we have two tools that I love. One's the juicy joints that moves all the joints in our body, and another one's Shake It Up Baby, and it's just totally shaking your body and shaking your legs. But why? It sounds kind of silly, but it builds collagen. It releases tension in the fascia. The fascia is that spider web of connective tissue under your skin, all through your body. If you don't move it, you will not be able to move it. So we're releasing that tension in the fascia, and we're releasing excess cortisol. Sitting is the new smoking disease. It's so, I could go on and on and on. I've done lectures on don't just sit there, but it's damaging to your body. So those of you who are entrepreneurs or sitting at an office job, you have to get up and move and drink your water and go and talk to somebody for a second.
Well, you know what they have, which I think is kind of neat, is those, I don't know what they call them, but they like sit on your desk and it raises your computer so you can stand up for a while and work. And
they have standing desks and even sitting on a ball.
But you know what, I wanted to get back to something else you said. I think I should have you talk to my wife, because I tried like singing to her, but she just says it annoys her, so she's not seeing those lights come on or whatever it is that's supposed to.
You have to sing songs that she likes, you see. And then she can sing with you. That's the whole thing, isn't it?
No, nobody can sing with me, because there's sounds come out of this that nobody else can make, believe me.
Well, that's a great idea.
So what are some tips for those of us who are, I remember when I was an associate before I was, going to meetings a lot, I would be at my desk for 8 or 9 hours, maybe take a lunch break, and like by the end of the day, you just feel this level of exhaustion where your brain's shutting down.
And your feet are swollen and you feel fatigued, So is it just getting up and walking around, or do you have some tricks for people that they can do, while they're working, to exercise in their chair? Or? Yeah, they can do the Shake It Up Baby. They should be doing something every 20 minutes to an hour. So they should set their timer. And it's not even just the body, but the eyes. It can damage the eyes. Every 20 minutes, you should make a concerted effort to look away from your computer and focus on something else, and then go back to your computer. It's amazing how our bodies can keep us functioning with all the horrible things we do to them, So be good to your bodies and have water by your desk. Get up and move a little bit. Go and talk to somebody, or take a break and read and tell that to somebody that you just read.
Well, it strikes me that one of the things I enjoy is golf, and that would seem to me to be a great thing for people to take up, because that has both the physical aspect as well as the mental aspect.
As long as it's not just the only thing you do.
Sure.
You should play golf one day, go swimming another day, do some aerobic activity, weight train, do some any other kind of bicycling. So what the brain is saying is, challenge me. I want to be challenged. I can't keep, if you keep doing the same things over and over again, I'm going to just, I'm not going to improve.
Just like any muscle, it like atrophies.
If you don't use it, you lose it. That's the term for your brain. That's a term for your body. Your body is an amazing thing, but we have to learn to take care of it and to nurture it and to exercise it and
I imagine, 200 years ago, we didn't have these concerns because life was so different that you had to always be engaged just to survive.
And now we have to worry about our kids. Our kids at this point in time are not going to live as long as their parents. It's the most frightening thing. That's with the obesity rate and the diabetes rate and the spinal stenosis with the technology. That is the research that children that were born after 2009 are not going to live as long as their parents, because they're already starting to show
That's very interesting.
dramatic effects with their bodies. And
you know what I noticed? Kids today, their life is so scheduled and organized. I remember being a kid, we had all kind of fun games and crazy things to do, and the kids today
they're
don't have
addicted.
that.
They're addicted to technology.
Yeah.
And another thing that's kind of scary, I just read some research that between the ages of birth and 6 months, that's one of the most pivotal times for development of the brain. Okay, if that child is moving, swaddling the babies and keeping them tight, that the only way they can activate their brains and start developing their brains is to move. And that's why they say it's better for a child not to walk too fast, to crawl longer than walking. So it affects all of us. It affects the children. It affects the healthy adults look at us and say, well, it's chair exercise. Come to one of our classes. I mean, after a half an hour class, I'm sweated. Plus I learned so much. And then we get into, the active 55 and over, and they love working out and being social. Then we get into the nursing homes, and I have sometimes people that that are just sitting there like this, but if with music and with movement and with sociability, we can change their brains. We can improve their bodies and their brains. And it's exciting and rewarding for me, because I'll be doing a demo. I don't teach classes, but I do lots of demos for residents or communities. And they'll look at me and and when I say, it doesn't matter how old you are. And I used to say from age 5 to 105. And then I had a woman that was 107 in the class, just sitting there, working out. And so now I have to say 110. But they look at you like, wow, you mean to tell me I don't have to just sit here and die? I can actually start improving myself. And that's not just for, the people that are 90 and 100 or 80 and 70. This is for the whole population. Every single person in the world should be doing an aerobic type exercise at least 10 minutes a day. It's all you need is 10 minutes to build BDNF, which is, it's the protein that helps create more development in the brain, and that has been shown to be increased so much just by moving and exercising. So, as far as working, and it's a wonderful thing to be an entrepreneur, but we have the same, what do you want to call it? We have the same negative things that corporate people do, because we sit, we get involved, we get focused, and we have to start taking some time to do things for our bodies, by the same things that we've been talking about. Sleep is another one. We just read an article that just made it sound, we go to bed and our brain is like a jungle. I mean, it's like we've got so many, so many synapses going in, and when we don't get enough sleep, we don't have these little microglia that come in and prune our brain, and so that when we wake up, we have Central Park instead of that jungle. If we're not getting that sleep, we wake up and we wonder why we feel so foggy-brained and stuff when we haven't slept, because our brain's still a jungle, and then we're going back into more dense. So it's important for all reasons to get enough sleep, and that's the research on that is pivotal as far as if we don't get sleep and good sleep, that can affect the way that not only how we are at this moment, but how we're going to age later on.
One of the things that struck me that you were talking about, and it seems to be a kind of theme both for body and brain, was, not just doing the same exercise, but challenging yourself. That's, anyone that's into weightlifting will tell you that it's better to just do the same exercise than do nothing at all. But if you want to actually grow your muscle or get better, you have to trick your muscles and do a different exercise than you did last week. And it seems like the same thing applies to your brain, like any other muscle. And really, that seems like one of the big themes is to continue. Don't just golf and then swim.
Yeah, and even at the pool, I was at the pool. I'm a swimmer, and one of our tools is dive in, and we teach them different swim strokes and different dives, because again, most of the people that are older, even kids, maybe haven't done the breaststroke before. So if we're doing that, we're building up our body, but we're also, the brain's going, oh, she's never been in the water before. And what's really cool is the brain does not know you're not in water. The brain does not know you're not playing a piano or playing a clarinet. It doesn't know that you're not playing basketball and you're not actually throwing a ball. It doesn't know that you're not, that you're not lifting weights. It doesn't understand. It just, by visualization alone, we can actually build biceps without even moving our body if we actually concentrate and visualize it. So anything. So I'm in the pool, and I don't like to. I have eye problems, so I don't like to get chlorine in my eyes. So I'm sitting on the side, sitting on the step, and I'm doing all of my, Aegis Grace in the water. And it's like you can do it anywhere. And we have one called Saving Face, which is using all of the face muscles. Oh. And so I said, just still points are when you sit stuck at a train. Just go like this to the person next to you. At least would make them smile a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's my role in life, is making people laugh.
Well, that's it. And laughter is huge. Laughter is one of the best ways, and that's another thing, oxygenation. Getting these people to breathe, because they're sitting like this, and the kids are sitting like that, and they're cutting off. They're using only a third of their lungs, and we need that oxygen. Our body uses 25% of every breath we use to activate in the brain. So if we're cutting that off, that means that the brain's not getting that oxygen either, and that's another whole cause of dementia. It's not just the hydration, but it's the oxygenation. So singing, whistling, laughing, and there was a laughter yoga class, and I just said, that's silly. And so I thought, but Peg, you got to do that. So I went. I had to sit down. It was so cardiovascular. I mean, it was, my heart was beating so fast. Sure. So you have to laugh. They say adults laugh 7 to 8 times a day, and little kids laugh 200 times a day. And
usually maniacally, from my experience.
Right.
So
I'm definitely closer to the 7-year-old.
Yeah, I think that's the way we should live life. If we did what a 2-year-old does in activity and laughter, we'd be a lot healthier.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us.
Peggy, that was really fascinating. Yes.
It is. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I mean, just teaching people that they don't have to just sit there and wait for death, that they can change.
So if somebody wants to explore this further with you or has questions, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You can go to the Aegis Grace website if you want to see what Aegis Grace is at www.aegisgrace.com. But if you would like to talk to me, my email address is my name, Peggy Kinst, PeggyyKinst @gmail.com. And you can even reach me on my cell phone, which is 630-926-5827. And come and try a class. Another thing that we're doing is we're starting to do hand massage reflexology classes with essential oils. We're finding that that with any kind of touch, I think that's another thing that we didn't leave out, is just touching someone and letting them know that we care. Well, in nursing homes and hospice and things like that, one of the things that we want to do so much is to be able to give them some comfort and ease. And so I'm doing now, going into nursing homes and bringing in essential oils, because with peppermint, with just a dab on the back of your neck, we can get someone who's had a stroke to be able to react and stay awake through physical therapy. But someone who is anxious, like I call them vintage people they get real anxious, especially at night. Just a little bit of lavender or wild orange and peppermint can relieve their anxiety, and we do it with a certain way of massaging, so we have all of those things together. Super. So we keep bringing all kinds of things in to keep people healthier and happier. So that's another whole.
Good. Well, thank you. And Kevin, if people need legal advice or help?
We
How
do
do
free
they-
consultations, and you can call me at 630-324-6666. Also, I'm doing a law podcast by myself. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as funny because Jim's not there,
Of
but
course,
learn-about-law.com is the website for that. And go on seizeyourbusiness.com if you want to see our videos and podcasts for business owners. And Jim, how can people reach you?
Yeah, the best way is just give me a call, 630-272-3895 if you want to improve your performance in your business, or if you need some comedy. Just give me a call.
And thank you both very much for having me. And
Oh, it's been our
if
pleasure.
anyone wants to get a demonstration of either the hand massage or the Aegis Grace, I do come in and do programs for people.
Super. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.